Like any company that makes the first product, Nothing's first smartphone has been met with criticism by being an overpriced, flashy device that looks too much like an iPhone 12 and isn't priced attractively. Though admittedly the glyph interface was the coolest thing of any smartphones at that time, and it still is right now. With all these lessons learned, Nothing has finally crafted for what it considers to be the true successor to the Phone 1. This is the Phone 2a. You see, there's hardly any excitement at all when it comes to smartphone design these days. The iPhone looks almost identical for the past 5 years, Samsung's Galaxy phones have the same camera array design for years, and most other mid-range phones just copy each other when it comes to the back design. This is what Nothing wants to change on the Phone 2a, as it doesn't just want to be another Me Too smartphone with a fresh new look on the back. It still has the signature Nothing transparent design language, the dual cameras reside on the top middle looks like a pair of minion's eyes, while there's lesser LED strips on the glyph interface that looks simpler than before, and yes, they still come with 26 addressable LEDs that can be customized. And it is still a pretty cool gimmick that I love compared to dynamic island wannabes. What makes most sense about the design is the camera array placement. Especially if you like to take vertical photos and videos, it gives the exact view of what your eyes are seeing, which makes framing a lot easier compared to most phones with camera arrays placed on the side. Otherwise, this is a very comfortable phone to hold with its rounded corners, and I love the frame's matte finishing. The power and volume buttons are placed at a comfortable position within my finger's reach. Many will obviously be confused on why the Phone 2a is considered the successor of the Phone 1 instead of being an entry model of its flagship Phone 2. Because, for one, the Phone 2 was never positioned as a mid-range device, and the internals of the Phone 2a speaks for itself. The SoC is a MediaTek Dimensity 7200 Pro that's customized exclusively for it, while paired up to 12 GB of RAM and 256 GB of storage. This isn't the most powerful SoC within the segment, but it is definitely a huge jump from the Snapdragon 778G Plus that is on the Phone 1. The Phone 2a features a large 6.7-inch flexible AMOLED screen that refreshes adaptively from 30 to 120Hz with a 2160Hz PWM dimming and 1300 nits of peak brightness. It also has louder and clearer dual stereo speakers that sounds better than most mid-range phones I have used. The Phone 2a ships with Nothing OS 2.5 based on Android 14. I love the clean and simple widgets, the always-on display looks simple and elegant, there's no preloaded bloatware like other similar segment phones, and most importantly, I didn't encounter any serious issues during my one-week review period. Aside from working with MediaTek on the Phone 2a's customized chipset, Nothing has included a liquid cooling system which helped the phone score a 99.7% stability score in the 3D Mark Wildlife Extreme Stress Test. And in real-world usage, there's hardly a time I find the phone heating up even when gaming for extended hours. The chipset's GPU does well in games like Honkai Star Rail in medium graphics setting on 60 FPS. And yes, I am a pretty bad gamer and just getting started on it, so do forgive me for that poor gameplay. Now, let's talk about cameras, which is one thing I love about the Phone 2a over the rest in the segment because it doesn't come with any unusable lenses. You get two 50-megapixel cameras that does wide and ultra-wide shots, but only the former lens gets OIS and EIS. However, don't start thinking that they can replace a flagship phone camera, because they aren't the best shooters that I've tested, at least at this point of time. The main camera tends to sharpen and oversaturate landscapes I took, and if sunlight is too strong, photos can end up looking a little washed out than usual. Low light performance is acceptable, but there's noticeable grain and loss of detail despite the low noise levels. The ultra-wide camera takes pretty wide shots at 14mm of focal length, although, like the main camera, it tends to oversaturate photos. Both cameras take 4K videos at 30 FPS, but there seems to be some optimization that needs to be done here as colors look really washed out. And there's visible noise levels even in good lighting conditions, not to mention sharpening issues. These things I mentioned can possibly be fixed over a software update, and knowing Carpe and his team, I believe it can be resolved soon. The Phone 2a has a 5000 mAh battery that Nothing claims can last up to 2 days on a single charge, which is easily the case if you are a lightweight user. But in real-world scenarios of using 5G to power your daily activities and having the always-on display active, you will still usually have 20% of juice when you end the day. and it charges fast over USB PD with 45 watts of power. This is definitely an improvement over the Phone 1, but not on par with the competition, as some phones are already delivering 3 times the charging wattage and even bigger battery sizes. Ultimately, the Phone 2a is nothing's attempt to penetrate a market that wants a unique-looking phone without spending for an overpriced and fragile foldable phone, or an average-looking mid-range phone. It looks unmistakably a nothing product. It has practical features and everyday performance that an average user would need, and most importantly, it has a price that's lower than the flagship Phone 2, and one that most people can possibly afford. It is more than just a great product and its flashy glyph interface, but also one that a young startup company has genuinely improved from what it has learned from past lessons. So yeah, that concludes my review of the Nothing Phone 2a after using for a week. Do let me know about your thoughts in the comments down below, and be sure to subscribe to us for more videos coming right up, and I'll see you guys in the next one.